You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepa, what up, mi gente? What's poppin'? It's your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast, and today I got an amazing independent comic book creator. This man is a musician, he's an author, he's a publisher, he does it all. This man is like a top boss, killing it with Homebrewed and the C.R.I.T, not to be confused with the Crips. Respect to those LA gangs, not looking for no beef. All right. Let me introduce the man, the one, the only, the future legend building his own universe. The one, the only, Mr. Chris Sahloff. Wepa, how you doing?
Doing well, man. That was probably the best entrance I've ever had. So thank you.
Are you pumped up? Are you ready to go, kiddo?
Yeah, I am stoked now. That was awesome. Thank you.
Man, you're a future star in the making. You're a dope comic. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I am at page 139 of that graphic. Wonderful stuff. I'm
Awesome.
digging. I've been finding myself laughing, going through the action. Like, whoa, good stuff. We're gonna get into this whole new comic universe real soon, folks. But first, we gotta know the origin story of Mr. Sahloff over here. So let's know, like, where you from, where you at, what's popping.
So I'm originally from Connecticut. I live in North Carolina now, and I'm on the, I guess, west side of North Carolina.
West side.
West. I guess it's like middle west. I don't know. It depends on how you go. I'm too far away from the water to enjoy the beach. I'm too far away from the mountains to enjoy that. So I'm kind of like stuck down there.
West Bubba, we like to call that. Okay.
But yeah, so I'm down here. I actually moved down here for music. You can see the guitar in the background.
Oh, wait. So you moved when? Wait, so you grew up in Connecticut, born, raised Connecticut, and when did you move?
I moved down here in 2004.
Okay, so you were older, I was supposed, no?
I moved here 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. Yep.
All right. Okay. There you go. So
18
all right, so what was it like growing up then in Connecticut, and who put you on to your geek fandom first? Was it a self-discovery, or was it somebody in the fam, friends? What was it?
Well, as a kid, you can see some of my figures and things. Huge Batman fan and Spawn fan as a kid. Those are, take that, Wolverine and Gambit, and those were like my four go-tos, and then throw in some E-Learning because I love the chaos. And I always loved comic books. A kid that I moved around, I probably had, by the time I moved to North Carolina, I moved probably about 40 times. I went through 3 first grades. We were always moving. And so comics and collector cards and things, those were always my go-to because I could bring them everywhere. They were a good escape for me as a kid, and I always enjoyed them. I still have the first comic I ever got. It's a New Mutants comic book. When I was a kid, that was the first comic I ever bought, and it's all ripped up and destroyed. Okay. Every time I see it, I'm like, I can't really get rid of this thing because it was the first one I ever got.
But you have it. Yep.
Yes, I do.
I love these cats. It's like me. I still have my OG, and just like yours, it is completely beat up. You could tell that I folded it, put it in my back pocket type joint.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no better back then.
I got a Rob Liefeld was here a few months ago. I really wanted to bring it to him to sign it because he's one of the interior artists on a few pages, and I just think it's cool. I'm sure he'd probably get mad because beat up and everything else, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's your OG, and that's that. It was an influence, so there you go.
Yeah, I got into so I've always been into comics, but I was actually signed to a record label for a few years, so I did music for a long time.
Really? Wait, so when did music come into your life? What inspired that?
My dad bought me a guitar, and I was like 8 or 9, and just said, "Here, learn how to play guitar." I did that for a few years, got bored, got tired of him telling me what to do, and then right when I was like 16 or 17, a few friends of mine started playing all the time, and I went over and started jamming out with them, wound up joining a band. That's why I moved here. My singer and I had decided we were tired of the Connecticut scene and wanted to pursue new ventures. Literally moved here randomly.
On a random joint, really.
I literally got in a car on a Sunday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon, like in the morning. Got here that night. Went to Denny's. Didn't know anybody. Just stopped to eat at Denny's. There was a bunch of kids that looked like they listened to metal music, and I was like, "Hey, this is a place to stay. Gets free dinner." And one kid was like, "Yeah, you can crash at my house. My parents are gone." And so we went there, crashed on his floor for a few days. 2 days later, I signed a lease. Next weekend, I went home, packed my car, and that Monday, I was living in North Carolina.
Wow.
Since, yeah.
Insane. So how did the musical career go?
It went well. I said I'd give it a year. If we weren't signed to a record label in a year, I was going to leave.
Okay.
And we moved here with like 3 songs written. It was me and one other guy. Within 4 months, we had a whole band. We were touring. I had built up a lot of connections while I was in Connecticut, so I knew a lot of people, and we were able to do quite a bit. We got signed 6 months in. There was a band called My Hero Is Me. We were on Tragic Hero Records, which got bought by Sony a few years into it, and we did Warped Tour, a bunch of metal fests and things.
Oh, and how was that experience? Did you even expect being part of that journey, even though especially as a kid fan?
I mean, it was always the goal. I just like playing music. Right. One of the reasons I left was it just started getting too serious. They were telling us what to wear. We did a music video once, and they made me change because I just wore jeans and a white T-shirt, and they were like, "No, you gotta wear black. You gotta." Oh, I didn't.
You gotta be emo. You gotta wear mascara. Wear
right.
Black.
Yeah. I was like, well, at the time I was homeless. I'm like, I'm living out of my car, so I got to be sensible with the money I spend. And
not just that, it was the cleanest pants I probably got at the moment, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That was a pretty rough year for us. We were just touring so much there was no point in me paying rent and all these bills.
Really?
I wasn't at. So,
but you were making cake though, no?
I mean, I was making enough money to buy food.
Okay.
We were starving artists, to say the least.
Oh God! Okay, almost literally.
Yeah, literally. On tour, we just bring a grill, and I'd go out and go to the grocery store and buy food, and we'd be in a Walmart parking lot or a Costco, and I would just pull the grill out, and I would just grill there in the parking lot.
Yeah, but good food is some good food, though.
Oh yeah, I love
you eat good though.
It was great. A bunch of other bands were like, "Oh man, we should have thought about this." I'm like, "It's cheaper than spending even dollar meal. It's cheaper and it's better." So.
Hell yeah, bro! You buy fresh food. You got your own portable stove. You're good, son.
Yep. I mean, if you ever grew up in like going camping and stuff, it was fun. But I got out of that, and then about 3 years ago, I was playing D&D with my friends, and the campaign was a lot of fun. So I started drawing it. I didn't even know how to draw. I just started drawing, and then that turned into the comic book. So. That's why
out of a D&D game. What was it about the D&D game that made you start trying to build this whole comic book universe in your head? What happened? What was the creative spark?
We played the first. So my friends and I hadn't played D&D in like 10 years, and I got everybody back together. We had one session, and we talked about it for a month. I mean, like we were in a group chat. Like I said, some of us hadn't even spoken to each other in 10 years, and our group chat was just blowing up with, "Oh, that was fun," or I want to see this with my character. I want to go here. I want to do that. And it was something about a bunch of grown men just being excited about the dumbest stuff that we had done. And I was like, well, I have nothing else to do. So I had a tablet from work that had a pen, and I just started sketching some of the stuff out from the game. And it was rough. In the very back of the book is, I think, the original in that trade paperback. And I worked on that for like 3 months, and I was very proud of it. My wife is a phenomenal artist. So when I was done after 3 months of literally drawing every day in this thing, I handed it to her for her to look at, and she read through it. She handed the tablet back to me and went back to watching TV and said, "It's okay." and the most mundane, bored voice I had ever heard. And I had been with her.
Eh.
We had been married for 4 years. We were best friends for 11 on top of that, so 15 years with her. And
Okay.
for her just to say that was kind of, it was very
It was
infuriating.
one of those Larry David Kirby enthusiasm.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. So the next day I went out and I bought an iPad and started
Nice.
taking classes. And I think it was the challenge of of doing something that she appreciated. And
Yeah.
then here we are on our 7th issue of the book, coming out,
Woo!
and I'm very proud of the artwork. You can see the growth in the book itself, from page 1 to page 220. Um, I've worked really
Yeah.
hard at it. I've taken more classes on drawing than I ever took to play guitar, and I did it professionally. So that's something.
So, all
Um,
right. So, how's that learning curve like then? Because here you go from this musician angle, turned, D&D player, turned comic book creator, publisher, author, and shit. Like, what's that whole learning curve like for you?
it it was tough because I'm rough on myself, and it was tough too because um, you know I have I'm surrounded by a lot of talented people, and trying to match that level in my head, even though I know out the gate, I'm not gonna be as good. But she had blown my phone. I'm sorry. Um, she really helped me out. She would go page by page with me and work on anatomy. She gave me a lot of pointers because she's extremely talented. And her first words were, "So you're really going to do this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You really want to draw a comic book? Like, where did this come from?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just really want to do it. It seems like fun." And I thought we had a really cool story, and I thought people would be interested in it. So I just started putting the effort in. This was beginning of 2020, and I mean, there was nothing else to do, right? Like,
I mean, we're stuck home, right? Why not?
right? I had nothing else, and I said, well, the creative side of me was going nuts as it was, and I had been, in and I worked out a lot, and so you take me out of the gym, you take away my creative side, and now all of a sudden I'm stuck at home. I'm going to get depressed and angry. I needed something to put that energy into,
Yeah.
so just started drawing, and she took every page, started helping me out. It took 3 books. By the middle of the 4th book, she was like, "I really don't need to give you any more input. You're good."
You're on your
Uh,
own, kiddo.
yeah,
The
so
training wheels are off. You're there pedaling away. Like, hey, with no
she
helmet
still
on.
looks at a few things here and there. She's an editor on the book. She does
Okay, nice.
provide some input. This is the first book I'll actually be coloring too.
Hey, how did look at that? What is it about stepping up to all these challenges? You just want to learn every aspect of the bookmaking. Is that it?
Well, there's that, and monetarily, I'd like to be able to bring in a little bit because my
Gotcha.
colorist was $50 a page, which is more than reasonable for the talent.
Ooh, gotcha.
That's what people don't realize.
But
it is
it's heavy on an indie creator. Hell yeah.
it is. This is all me. It's 100% out of my pocket if we don't make it on Kickstarter, and I like to keep the books affordable. So, and that's nothing against anybody else that has different price points, but I really don't like going above $6 to $8. Like $8 for a 60-page book, I thought was fair on the last campaign.
Yeah.
For 30 pages, I try to keep it at like 6, and
Nice.
I don't want to go up on my pricing. Just so I wanted to be able to do it myself, and earlier this year I just started really practicing colors. I took a couple lessons with some really great colorists that I know. I like their style. I thought
Yeah.
it fit well. Actually, the guy who did this background image, Robert Nix, I spent a lot of time with him, and I said, "Hey, like your style really matches my tone, and I'd like to incorporate that." And he took some time with me. I took some online lessons, and then went to my wife and said, "Hey, help me out." And so we started working on colors, and I did a few pages, like a few different things, tested out my style, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to show it to people." So I have a couple different groups that I'm in, and I just started showing pages that I had colored. I said, "What do you guys think of these?" And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And no one knew that I colored it. I just wanted to get raw feedback because I figured
Okay.
if I said that I did it, there'd be, oh, that's good. People are usually hesitant to give you like true feedback if they know you did it. And I said, yeah, I think this is what I'm gonna do for the next book. I colored this, and they were like, oh, I thought your colorist did that. Like, it's really good. So I was like, well, I'm not
Oh, wow.
losing quality. I'm not gonna, my readers and everything, they're not gonna sacrifice quality. We'll still be able to provide the same level of color for them. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and then I can take the money that we earn there and turn that into other things for the comic.
Oh,
Because
wonderful.
yeah, we have
Wonderful.
like stuffed animals and figures. I've got energy drinks coming. Um, I've
Uh,
got what else?
introduce us then to this wonderful world that you've created. Talk about these amazing characters that you have right here. Like, what is this universe? Who are these people?
Well, they're my friends. Every single one of them is based off of my friends.
Okay.
They're real. Those are their real names. Brad Haynes. He is the guy right there in the middle, the red and yellow. He is your, um, in D&D terms, he's like a rogue fighter. In real life, he's trained in 7 different forms of martial arts. So his character knows a lot of hand-to-hand combat. He's one of the top marksmen in the state too. So he uses a lot of guns, and he has no real superpowers. His only ability is he's immune to all abilities. So nobody can use powers on him that aren't physical. To his left is Boulder, who is a
That's actually a cool power, though.
yeah. He came up with it.
In
All
theory.
these, every one of them came up with their own abilities and using D&D. And Boulder, the guy to the left, he is like a barbarian monk. So he's very fast. He's very strong. He's like your like Flash mixed with Colossus. I don't want to say Colossus. Like Flash mixed with maybe a little bit of Hulk, because he has this
Okay.
ability called symbolism, which is like a barbarian rage. So when he goes
Okay.
into that mode, he's more durable, he's stronger, and he can hit harder, things like that. But
Okay.
even without his powers, he's physically altered to be more durable, faster, and stronger. So if he were to punch, say, Caliber, he could hurt him. But if he
Gotcha.
tries to turn on his magic powers, the powers would have no effect on him.
Gotcha.
Um, and so we describe him. His personality is like if you took All Might and Eddie Murphy and mixed them together, and he's got the personality of Eddie Murphy and the powers of All Might. Um,
Gotcha.
And then behind him, the guy with sword and shield, that's Bones. He is 7 foot tall, out of armor. So in the armor, he's almost 8 foot tall. Um, he, he, in real life, he has brittle bone disease. So his character, when he gained his powers, his body kind of overcompensated a bit, made him bigger, stronger, tougher. He's like a paladin cleric, so he can heal, he can tank a lot of damage. He's like our damage tank.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's the front line.
right. He's a support character. He's your first line of defense, and he does do a good bit of damage too. He has a magic sword. He has a magic shield. He can change the sword into a hammer. He can change it into a spear. So he's versatile in those aspects, and just all around like tanky. Um, and then you've got the cat in the middle who goes with the guy to his right, Spectre. Um, the cat is a familiar, and he's this ancient being like a magical being, that aids, assists, and really is kind of like his master splinter to Spectre. Teaches him how to use his new abilities and can
Yeah.
buff
That,
him.
that cat is funny as hell, though. Let me tell
Oh
you.
yeah, his personality is based off of Cat the Hat mixed with the cat from Alice in Wonderland and um, the Mad Hatter all in one. So he can be crazy. He likes to talk and rhyme just because he knows it annoys the crap out of people, not because he has to. Um, but
Just like
he
a
uh,
cat.
he doesn't. He's from a different dimension, so he has no quote unquote dog in the fight with all the humans, but he does see the potential in Spectre and kind of binds himself to Spectre to save Spectre's life after the first issue, and
Okay.
in doing so helps the rest of the team. Spectre is our youngest member. He is a warlock build. That's the best way to describe him. He shoots
Okay.
fireball all day long, and he's like young. He's kind of pig-headed in a way. First to run into combat without anybody else, but his motives are he wants to run a business. So actually, in the book that we're putting on Kickstarter now, he's created his own coffee and energy drink company, and they're selling that stuff in New Orleans. That's how they're making money to fund all their heroics.
Oh, look at this. That's dope.
Yep. Yeah, it's like their before and after pictures.
Look at
Uh,
these guys. 70s right there, the open button down shirt. They're the
yeah,
disco. Where they at, yo?
they're getting ready to leave work and go, kick ass.
Yo, look at that. Gangs. I like that sideways. Wait, that looks like a hip hop album right there.
Yeah, yeah. The guy with that's
Cool.
a one of my
What's
favorite
this?
pieces. I had an artist that liked the idea of Caliber fighting robot dragons,
Holy
and
shit.
so yeah, that does happen like way later in the series, and so I said, why not?
What do you mean way later in the series? Because here
Well,
we go, folks. Before we go, hold on. I just want to show you that there's a cool link right there. So I'm also showing at the bottom of the page. So make sure to click that and turn on those notifications when this campaign goes live. Check out the website. Follow on social, of course. You know what it is, all right? But this is what he's talking about right here.
yep.
Caffeinated chaos. You know, get notified on launch, folks. You're gonna want this. So let's talk about this.
So yeah, this is the seventh entry into the series, and we have 42 books that are planned for the entire series. Currently,
42.
we've been playing for almost 4 years.
Whoa, wow, look at you.
Yep,
So that's the plan. And we're only up to number 7. If you This
yep,
is number 7 then?
that's number 7. Yep.
Okay, cool.
And so in this book, they've left their previous employer, and they've got to find a way to pay for all their adventuring and everything that they're doing by themselves. So they took some funds that they had, they souped up their hero van, and they turned it into a mobile coffee shop.
Oh
And
no.
so they're in the midst right now of opening their own, but until they can save enough money, they have a mobile coffee shop.
They're in the
And,
superhero food truck business.
yep, exactly. And but it allows them to be mobile. So if they need to go and say, fight a
They
big
got it.
giant robot, they
Oh,
can.
man. They got a cover for everything. Hey, yo, we just selling food in the area. I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Well, actually, so they are known in game. They're well known as who they are, um, and so they actually serve coffee and stuff in their hero outfits with barista,
Oh,
aprons
they
on.
do. But
Yep.
the coffee ain't any good.
Well, it depends on which one you get, because Caliber really hates the idea of being customer service. So every time he makes coffee, he just gives people black coffee when they're supposed to be getting like a mochaccino or something. And
Well, I don't. I like black coffee, so you know.
yeah, his argument is he didn't sign up to be a barista. He signed up to kick ass and take names. So you're getting black coffee. There's sugar and milk on the side.
Yeah, and he is one of the funniest characters in the whole book, for real though.
Yeah,
There's
his
a lot
in real life,
of
that's
great
how he
one-liners
is.
there.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go. So that's your boy's personality.
yeah, everything that's said and done actually happens at the table. I record all the
Wow.
sessions, and then I script it out and turn it into the comic book.
Oh
So
man.
it's all organic. Very little of it is actually written post post game. I pull most of the dialogue straight from the recordings.
No way. All
Yep.
right. So, and are you always the games master, or does it kind of circle in between?
I was up until the last few games we played. So the past 3.5 years, I've been in charge of everything.
All
And
right.
recently, Brad has taken my spot. Um, his character is going through some stuff, so he is in charge now, running the game, and I have my own
Okay.
character that I'm playing as part of the team. in this portion of the story. And yeah, but I still have final say on everything. I still
Did you guys make your own cards and stuff for all this or no?
yes, I have collector cards. I have
Get out. You
posters.
do?
Yep, I have everything.
You have a sample right there? Can you reach over to the side?
Give me 1 second. 1 second. Hold
Pull
on.
me a card, yeah. Let me see
Yeah,
what
let
you
me
guys
let
play
me
with.
pull out. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Folks, and while you do that, I'll tell everybody where to go. Check it out, folks. I need you to go visit their website, homebrewedcomics.com. Check out this new project right here, especially if you're into that card game, you're going to dig it. Right, follow them on Instagram at Homebrewed Comics, and then on Facebook, Homebrewed Comics, and also Twitter, but it's with an X. All right, you gotta check it out for real.
So
He back. Let me put him on the main screen over here, and look at that.
there's one, and I set the backs up for like D&D stuff, so you
Oh,
can see their stats.
cool. Look
Yeah,
at that. Holy shit.
and in this set is a breakdown too of what their abilities mean and like what the numbers mean.
Oh, word. Nice.
Yep, we got 18 cards in total. So like that's Spectre's card right there,
Oh, that's nice, man. Look at those.
and then
And then these, wait, put that up again. Kind of looks like the old scorecards from the 90s. That
oh
first set.
yeah,
Kind of has that border and look to it. Like the 90s score. Yeah, yo.
yeah, I hand drew all the
Dope.
borders and everything on the names.
Wow, bro.
Um,
Nice.
I designed everything on the back.
Dude, man, how do you feel even having, holding those cards and playing games with those bad boys?
What was that?
How do you feel holding those cards and even being able to play with those?
This is probably my favorite part of the whole process right here.
Yeah,
I was a huge card collector as a kid. I have this, most of the bottom of this shelf is all cards from when I was a child.
oh,
And
wow.
so when we got into this and started making books as a regular thing, I said my goal is to have my own cards one day. And so the third book, I started working on it. Book 4, I put out the first set. Book 5 was the second. And now I'm going to start doing every issue. We're going to grow that card set, by a few.
Ooh. And what do you mean by a few? Can you tease? 2 cards, 3 cards,
Yeah.
4 cards.
So
Yeah,
we
we're gonna get
introduced new
a
characters.
full ass deck by the time this book is over.
Yeah, so like all the new characters that we'll introduce, or like the enemies that we introduce, will get their own card.
Nice.
Because they are kind of expensive to have made sometimes. If I have like 20
Sure.
of them, so if I do 2 or 3 at a time, and then maybe a stretch goal for an additional or a special card, then by the time we're done, we'll have all the characters out there, and we'll have like some new suits at some point. And when those debut, we'll do like an updated character card. Like Boulder's
Oh, cool.
white suit, because he does get a white suit at one point. Caliber actually does get the knight costume at some point. So we'll update that, and then like with this book, Samedi the cat, he has 2 little friends now, a talking chameleon and a talking owl. So they'll get their cards. And we'll just continue to grow the collection piece, so you can have everything.
It made me laugh because Samedi is a character itself, the cat, because that was that one line that how can nobody hear you? It's like, you fool, I'm a cat.
Yeah, we have
the hell.
the Samedi stuffed animal.
Hey,
Yep.
dig him.
And
That's
I'm
awesome.
working right now on getting the owl done, and then we've got a couple statues too. So
Ooh, say word. Yeah, how do you feel even holding that? Yo, that's a sample of your character right there, son.
oh
Yeah.
god, it's awesome that most of my stuff now is all my own. I'm not putting money into somebody else's pocket for nerd stuff. Like I have
Yeah.
my own T-shirts, I have my own hat, I have my own hoodies.
You wear your own shit all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, every time I go to Comic-Con, I'm wearing my own stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do too, bro. Virtual high five on that shit, bro. 'Cause I do the same exact thing. It's amazing.
In music is there's always this stigma around wearing your own band's T-shirt, but with comic books or like with your brand, you if you're not repping it, who is, right?
Exactly. What better model? You look at this white beard. It got to get something used for something. So, are you gonna be doing any cons? We were talking about like sport
Yep.
and stuff at cons. Where are you gonna be at?
I've
What's
got
popping?
Charlotte, North Carolina, the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd of October. We're going to be in Charlotte for Queen City Con, and then I'll be
Oh,
at Baltimore Con the weekend after, and then I'm shutting it down until probably April. I work in Texas, so from December through
oh, poor
April,
guy.
I'll be I'll be doing that. So it's
You'll
really
be
hard.
conless.
Right. I might pick up a few odd shows here and there during the season, um, but I can't really commit too much. I tried to last year, and doing that, then the two full time jobs, and then having a wife and child, I barely slept.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Preaching to the choir. I understand, bro. I understand.
Yep.
There's the life of a real entrepreneur, folks. You hear this? There's a family man got a day job and building that dream. I mean, 7 issues in with the next one called Caffeinated Chaos. Are we gonna get a coffee out of this too?
So coffee is on the way. So
Hey.
caffeinated chaos is two parts. The first thing I'm releasing is an energy drink. I have that on the way right now. So
Oh,
custom energy drinks. Coffee is a little bit more expensive, so I'm hoping that we can do well enough on the Kickstarter for me to get custom bagged coffee.
yeah, that'd be dope. And then he'll be serving coffee at the con as well when you meet him. A free cup when you shake
Yep,
his hand.
it's actually part of the goal. I want to be able to set up a Keurig or something next to me and
There
have
you go.
coffee and energy drinks because that's just a draw to the table.
Oh yeah.
When you're walking around, like the cat right now is my draw. I put him out in the front, and I'll tell you what, there was two cons I did back to back, and the first con was okay. It didn't do too bad. The second con, I showed up, and before I could set the table up, I just took the cats out and I put them on the table. Just put a couple there so I
Yeah.
could start organizing my stuff. And so there were three on the table, and I turn around, and there's just people picking them up and playing with them, and they're like, "Well, how much are these?" And I sold each one they bought the books to go with them. They're like, "Oh, I want the book to go with them too." And I'm like, "Well, we got five
Ooh.
books with the cat." And they're like, "Okay, I'll take all 5 books." So
Damn.
moved.
Pimping.
Yeah, before I could even set up, I had sold 3 cats and 3 sets of books, and I was like, "Oh, well, this table's paid for. Thank you."
That's the start of a good day right there. Right?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, son.
after that, I was like, "All right, cat goes out first, and then we'll
Cats
get a coffee
everywhere.
machine."
Kitty everywhere. The
Yep.
other word for the kitties everywhere.
Well, I think what's funny is a lot of times it was little kids that were walking up to play with the cat, and parents once a kid holds something, they're like, "Oh, I guess I gotta buy it for him."
You kind of forced, yeah.
Yeah. So the kid
And,
was like,
and
"Oh,
and then,
please."
hey, daddy, I got something for you too, mom, and you too, mama. Check this out.
Exactly. And I would kids. I love getting the kids into the comic books because the comic is it's like TV 14. That's if you let your kids watch all the animes and cartoons and stuff that are on TV, my book's really not out of that realm. And we do that on purpose because a lot of us have kids and we want our kids to be able to read the book. So that's why there's some of those like language jokes and things in there, keeping everybody in line. Um, and so when those kids come up, I'm giving away collector cards and posters. I want those kids to really get into it. And I saw a kid on YouTube that did a review on our books, and he's like 9 years old, and was just going nuts over Spectre and the cat and all these things. And I think that's one of the best feelings I've had is seeing a kid like when I was little getting excited about say Star Wars or Wolverine or something like that, and then seeing a kid having that energy towards something that I
Yeah,
created.
right.
That was freaking awesome.
Amazing, amazing. All right, kiddo. So before we go, because this wonderful next project, again, let me put it back up on screen, is due to release on the 12th of October.
Yep.
So again, turn on those notifications. It's Caffeinated Chaos, Crit D&D Adventure Story. All right. So do you record these adventures where we could hear them elsewhere via a podcast or anything?
So I've got everything like lined up right now. I don't know my own schedule for the podcast stuff, but I do have I have a YouTube through the Savage Sandbox that I'm part of. That's under Pharaoh's Creative Studio. You can check some of our stuff
Awesome.
out there. But my main thing is Instagram. So I do lives on there. I post. I try to stay on there all the time, or the algorithm hates me. So keep in touch with me on Instagram. And that's the best place for me right now. I
That's
just got
right.
into the Twitterverse, and it's, with social media, everyone I've talked to, you're good at one of the three or four that are out there. And so
Yeah.
I've been on Instagram the longest. That's the one I'm most comfortable with. So if you want to chat about D&D, the comic books, anything like that, hit me up. I'm always
It's
on.
right there at Homebrewed Comics, folks, on Instagram, and that's also Homebrewed Comics with an X on Facebook and also on Twitter. All right. So, last words for you, Mister Sahloff. What type of advice would you give anyone else trying to step into the game like you have and have as much success? Because look at you, kiddo, 7 issues in with this next one coming. Kudos to you. Great graphic novel, folks. Trust me, this is indie comics at its core, and it's wonderful. It's fun. It's a whole new universe. No baggage. You just getting into it, and it's funny as fuck too. So, you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Um, my advice would be, if it's just something you really are passionate about, don't let anything hold you back. I didn't know how to draw when I started. I had never done comic books when I started. I had never run a Kickstarter when I started. And I mean, my first Kickstarter failed. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't advertise for it. I just kind of put it up there and hoped it worked. And that's not the way it works. Um, and so I would just say, just do it and learn as you go, because everybody has their own way of doing things. There's no right way to do indie comics. There's just doing it. And so um, find people with like minds, ask them questions, reach out, build your community, and have fun, because a lot of people take it way too seriously sometimes, and that kind of ruins the fun and why we got into it in the first place.
Yeah, you ain't lying, yo. Exactly. Have fun with it. That's the whole point of
Mhm.
comic books, the funnies.
Yes, it's supposed to be
Come
fun.
on.
It's supposed to be an escape. It's not supposed to be depressing. It can be stressful. You know, a lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize how hard it is to do a comic. Um,
Oh,
but
preach.
that payoff of holding a book when it's all done, like, when
Is
you
that
hold the
your
book.
book right there? Is
Well, I've got a
that
whole
your
ton of my
book?
books. I keep them next to me just in case I'm on
Let
one of
me
these.
see again. Put that up on screen again. Be
This
proud.
is issue 0 right here.
Ooh. Yeah, wait a minute. Editor's note. I read there was an editor's note about issue 0. So what's here? What's going on in issue 0 that you guys had to note this to me?
So
Hey.
yeah, in the trade paperback, it's a collection of all the books. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, issue 0 is their first day at work. This is the first day on the job. This is before they have powers, and you meet some of them, Bones later on. But there's something that goes wrong. Clearly,
Ah.
people are dying. There's an attack. There's explosions, and so that's how they get their powers. And so issue 0 was actually never supposed to happen. Nate Broughton is the artist on this. He's from Australia. He read the first issue 0 that I had that never got released. He's a good friend of mine, so I let him read that, and he said, "Hey, I got to redo this for you." And I had given him my
Shit.
old tablet because he had been drawing everything on his phone for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I shipped him a tablet down to Australia and was like, "Hey, draw on this instead. It's a lot better than your phone."
Oh, how kind of you. Look at you.
So to thank me, he drew this, and
Wow.
um, it's really cool because I never thought we'd really revisit some of those issue 0 moments. I thought I'd tell them more as like a memory in the books or something, but he was able to get everything into 18 pages, and it's freaking awesome. So I was really happy about that, and I'm blessed to have a community of
Uh,
people that are willing just to draw 18 pages for you and not ask for a dime. Um,
yeah.
I
But look
actually
at you though. You helped him. You gave him a piece of tech that he needed, and he blessed you. So you know what I mean. That's what it is. When this is why it's good to give people, because you never know anything. And don't do it with expectancy. He did it because his homie needed a tool. Next thing you know, his homie said, "You know what, kiddo? I love this tool so much. Let me form this for you. Check this out." I mean, that's love, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I've met a lot of really, really awesome people in this journey. I did an Indiegogo for him just to raise some money for the book. We wound up raising about $700, so he got that. Um, you know,
Nice.
I did the printing and all that stuff over here, and now he's publishing his own book now, which is really cool.
There
Um,
you go.
but yeah,
That's
I
how you
mean,
support the community, man. This is independent. This is what indie is about, baby. That's why I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's real love and support, encouragement. You know what I mean? And then look at that. You know, it's just creating a family and a network. That web, baby. I dig it. So, Chris, thank you so much for your time today. Absolutely appreciate it, folks. You saw how dope this book is, right? So, again, let me add it to the stream one more time. Caffeinated Chaos. Turn on notifications today. The link is at the bottom. You want to be notified when this book comes out because it is fire. Please follow them on Instagram, Homebrewed Comics. Normally on Facebook it's Homebrewed Comics with an X, same as with Twitter. You can follow Homebrewed Comics, traditional at, that's their website.com. And again, in that link right there, I'm showing at the bottom. Show the love to Mr. Chris Sahloff, the whole Homebrewed Comics team's crit, baby. This is where it's at. Independent comic books. Auto tells you what to do, my big people over here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Much love and hasta la próxima, mi gente. It's Omega with the amazingly talented Mr. Chris Sahloff. Wepa! Later. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.